Good morning, my dear student. On the behalf of KTHM College Nasik and Department of Chemistry of this college, I am Dr. S.R. Loveday welcomes you to the lecture on electrogravimetric analysis. Student, in previous lecture we discussed some terminology which are useful in electrogravimetric analysis. Under this we study what is current density, what is current efficiency, decomposition potential, reversible EMF or back EMF. Student, in today's lecture we discuss the instrumentation of electrogravimetry, that is the apparatus used in electrogravimetry which is called as electrolysis cell. Student, basically the process of electrolysis is carried out by two different ways. Process of electrolysis is carried out by using electrolysis cell and it is performed in a two different way. First one is electrolysis without control cathode potential, and here potential of working electrode or cathode is not controlled, but current is controlled, and therefore it is called as amphorostatic electrolysis. And second type in which electrolysis is carried out with control of cathode potential, and that is called as potentiostatic electrolysis. Therefore, electrolysis process broadly classified into two categories. First type is amphorostatic electrolysis in which current is constant. Second one is potentiostatic electrolysis in which potential of that working electrode or cathode is constant. Now here first type, that is amphorostatic electrolysis is used for electrolytic separation of two or more metal, electrolytic separation of two or more metals which are differs widely in their reduction potential, and this type of separation is carried out by increasing the potential, but current is kept constant. Therefore, amphorostatic electrolysis is the useful for separation of two or more metals or analyte which differs widely in their reduction potential, so that we can completely deposit one analyte in presence of other without interference of other. Because reduction potential of those elements differs widely, and therefore their interference is not possible in electrodeposition process. For example, if we have a mixture of copper and nickel, copper 2 plus and nickel 2 plus, we have to separate these two ions by electrolysis process. Therefore, copper will be reduced at potential plus 0.3370 volt, while nickel will be deposited at potential minus 2.50 volt. Therefore, here there is wide difference in the reduction potential of these two metals, and therefore we can carry out electrolytic separation of copper and nickel without their interference. Therefore, we can deposit copper completely. At that time, deposition of nickel is not possible, and when we deposit nickel at that time, deposition of copper is not possible. That means for reduction of copper, we can keep potential to this value, a little bit more than this. For reduction of copper, we can keep potential to minus 0.250 volt, a little bit more negative than this. And therefore, here these two metal, without their interference in deposition, those can be separated electrolytically by amperostatic electrolysis. Therefore, amperostatic electrolysis, in which potential of working electrode or cathode is not controlled, but the current is controlled. Current which is flowing in the circuit, that is controlled, and here controlling of current is carried out either by increasing or decreasing the potential of a cathode. Therefore, here amperostatic electrolysis is useful for separation of two or more metals which differs widely in their reduction potential. Students, second type of electrolysis is a potentiostatic electrolysis. That is electrolysis with control of cathode potential. Now here potentiostatic, as the name suggests, it is a potentiostatic electrolysis. In this case, the potential of cathode is controlled so as to deposit a particular analyte. If two or more analytes, for example, here we have suppose copper 2 plus ion, then a lead Pb2 plus ion, then tin SN2 plus ion, these are present in mixture. We have to separate copper, lead and tin by electrolysis process, as well as we have to estimate the concentration of copper, lead and tin, whatever that amount present in the analyte solution. Therefore, we can easily deposit this copper at 0.3370 volt, but here reduction of this lead will be takes place at minus 0.126 volt, while reduction of tin will be takes place minus 0.136 volt. Therefore, if we compare the reduction potential of copper with lead and tin, we can easily separate copper from these two ions by using a amperostatic electrolysis process. But here it is difficult to separate lead ion and tin ion by amperostatic electrolysis process, because here when we have interest to deposit tin and when we have interest to deposit lead, at this potential we carry out the deposition of this lead. But when concentration of lead is decreases, there is demand of more potential, and at that time here the reduction of this tin may be possible, and therefore here for a separation of such a metal which are closely related to their reduction potential are electrolytically separated by controlling the cathode potential. At that time it is called as potentiostatic electrolysis. Therefore, in this case we can carefully control the potential of lead to this fixed value, so that deposition of lead is not possible. And when we have to deposit lead, at that time we have to control the reduction potential value to this 0.136 volt, so that the reduction of lead ion is not possible. Therefore, in this case the potential of working electrode or cathode is controlled so as to carry out the deposition of specific ion in presence of other, and that is called as electrolysis with controlled cathode potential, and that is called as potentiostatic electrolysis. Therefore, basically electrolysis are of two types. One is amphorostatic, in which potential is vary but current is constant, and second one is called as potentiostatic, in which potential is constant, current may be vary. And therefore, here these two electrolysis process requires similar type of electrolysis cell, but here in potentiostatic electrolysis process, we have to control the potential of cathode. And therefore, there is requirement of reference electrode to control the potential of cathode. While in amphorostatic coulometry, there is no need to control the cathode potential, therefore, there is no requirement of a reference electrode. Student, now we discuss the instrumentation of electrogravimetry, or you may say the electrolysis cell. Instrumentation of electrolysis cell. Electrolysis cell, what is electrolysis cell? Electrolysis cell is a device which is used to deposit analyte onto the electrode by using external electrical energy or electrical charge. Therefore, what is electrolysis cell? Electrolysis cell is a device in which is used to deposit a specific analyte onto the electrode, that means cathode or anode, by using external electric energy. Therefore, here if we deposit analyte by reduction process, that will be deposited on cathode. If we deposit analyte by oxidation process, that will take place on the anode. Therefore, reduction will be takes place on cathode, while oxidation will be takes place on anode. Therefore, this electrolysis cell consisting of a following components. Number one is called as electrode system. Electrode system, there is cathode and anode. Second component is a DC power source with variable resistance, as well as there is requirement of voltmeter and ammeter. Ammeter, that is a meter used to measure the current strength. Voltmeter measures the potential difference or a EMF. Third component, electrolysis vessel. Electrolysis vessel is a tall form beaker without lip that can be used as a electrolysis vessel in electrolysis cell. Number 4 is a stirrer. Stirrer means here for rapid deposition of ion or a analyte, here stirring is carried out. And this stirring is carried out by using sometime a magnetic stirrer, or sometime in some cases the anode itself is get rotated in order to carry out the stirring. Stirring process also decreases the convection effect, and therefore here the ore potential can be decreases because of stirring. Now, all these four components are required for electrolysis cell in which we can carry out electrolysis without controlling the cathode potential. But if we have to control the cathode potential, that is a potentiostatic electrolysis, then there is requirement of a reference electrode. Here reference electrode, it is coupled with the cathode and potential of the cathode is measured in terms of this with or in comparison with this reference electrode. Generally the saturated calomel electrode is used as a reference electrode in electrolysis process also. Student, now we draw the schematic diagram of the electrolysis cell, and after that we can discuss each part in detail. Therefore, there is a power supply with that is a battery 6 to 12 volt, 6 to 12 volt battery, that is a DC power supply which is connected through a variable resistance to the here this is a voltmeter and here this is a current meter, that is a ammeter. Here this electrode is a cathode and this cathode is generally in gauze form, which is which gives the more surface area. Gauze form cathode gives the more surface area, and therefore here generally a gauze form electrode is preferred in for deposition of analyte. Here this is a electric motor. This electric motor is directly coupled with the this is a electric motor which rotates the cathode. This total assembly is placed in a tall form beaker containing electrolyte solution. Here this is a electrolyte solution or analyte solution. Therefore, this is a analyte solution or here electrolyte solution. This is gauze form cathode, and this is a wire form anode. Both cathode as well as anode made up of platinum, because here deposition of analyte takes place onto the electrode. If analyte is deposited onto the electrode sometime, the deposition may be takes place permanently. Therefore, electrode which should be used in electrolysis process, that should be inert one. That should not undergo any reaction with the analyte, or that should be stable to that applied potential. Therefore, here this is a variable resistance, or you may say that is a rheostat. This is a current meter, ammeter. This is a voltmeter. Symbol directly represent A for ammeter and V for voltmeter. This is the schematic representation of this electrolysis cell. Sometime this vessel may be kept on a magnetic stirrer when electrodes are not rotating or here this is a stirring bar. This is a magnetic stirrer. If require, if this electric motor is not connected to this anode at that time, here magnetic stirrer may be used for stirring process. Stirring very important in electrolysis process because it decreases the convection effect, concentration gradient decreases, and here over voltage is also decreases and it gives the rapid deposition of the ion. This is a diagram that represents the electrolysis cell, and this electrolysis cell is used in electrolysis process. Student, now we discuss in detail each component which is involved in electrolysis cell. Electrolysis cell consisting of a gauze form cathode, wire form anode. Both electrodes are dipped in an analyte solution which is held by a tall form beaker, and here a DC power supply is connected across these two electrodes through variable resistance. Here electrode system in electrolysis cell consisting of cathode and anode. Now here there is requirement of both electrode in order to complete the circuit, and here generally reduction of the analyte takes place onto the cathode because cathode provides the electron for reduction process, and generally oxidation will be takes place on anode because anode takes a liberated electron during the oxidation process. Therefore, both cathode and anode that should be inert, that should be stable to that reaction condition, or that should not undergo any reaction with the analyte solution, and therefore here generally electrodes in electrolysis cell are made up of by using platinum or iridium alloy, because here platinum is very inert and generally a platinum iridium alloy is used for construction of electrode. The electrodes those are employed in electrolysis process, generally a cathode that should be in gauze form, or sometime if deposition takes place on the anode, then anode should be in gauze form. Because gauze form electrode gives more surface area and therefore it will be deposits ion from everywhere in the solution as well as it decreases the over potential. Therefore, more surface area decreases the over potential or over voltage in electrolysis cell. Over voltage in electrolysis process. Here electrodes, those employed in gravimetric analysis, those free from the greasy material or any other sticky material which is initially present in on the electrode. Therefore, electrodes are washed with 1:1 HNO3 solution or 50% nitric acid solution, and after that those are washed with water, and then those are washed with distilled water. After that those are dried in a oven and then placed in a beaker that is containing, then placed in a electrolysis vessel. Here some elements those form permanent coating onto the electrode. Therefore, initially electrode may be coated by copper metal if other metal or if analyte metal form permanent coating, and therefore here Initially, those platinum and iridium electrodes are layered by or protected by a copper metal, and after that those are used as a reduction of those particular analyte, those form a permanent coating. This is a requirement for both electrodes, that is cathode and anode. Cathode and anode in electrolysis cell are made up of platinum iridium alloy. Generally those are in gauze form in order to decrease the over voltage. Initially electrodes are cleaned by using nitric acid solution and water, and after that those are dried in a oven and then used. Sometimes those may be coated by using a copper metal in order to avoid the permanent coating. This is all about the electrode system in electrode gravimetric analysis or for a electrolysis cell. Now second component is a DC power supply. Second one is DC power supply or power source with variable resistance. There is also a ammeter and voltmeter connected in a circuit. Here generally or always, not generally, always a direct current is required for electrode deposition process. Alternating current is not gives the deposition of analyte. Therefore, for electrode deposition process a direct current is required, and here generally direct current is obtained by using a lead storage battery. Therefore, here a 6 to 12 volts lead storage battery can be used as a source of this DC power supply. This battery is connected across the electrode via or electrode through variable resistance. Connected across electrodes means cathode and anode through variable resistance. Negative terminal is attached to cathode, and the positive terminal is attached to anode. Therefore, here DC power supply it attached across the electrode, and negative terminal is attached to cathode and positive terminal attached to anode. Therefore, reduction will takes place on cathode and oxidation takes place on the anode. Here this battery or this DC source is connected through variable resistance. Variable resistance means it is a potentiometric wire, or you may say it is a rheostat that gives the variable resistance. Generally in electrolysis process, we are linearly increasing the potential across these two electrodes, and it is done by decreasing the resistance of the circuit. Therefore, here we can linearly decrease the resistance of circuit, then we can linearly increase the potential across these two electrodes. Therefore, here the linear increase in potential, is carried out by decreasing resistance linearly. Therefore, as we linearly decrease the resistance, indirectly we can linearly increase this the potential. Therefore, linear decrease in resistance that increases the linear increase the potential difference across these two electrodes. Student, next component is the tall form beaker or electrolysis vessel. Electrolysis vessel in electrolysis cell is a tall form beaker. Third one is electrolysis vessel. Electrolysis vessel employed in electrolysis cell is a tall form beaker. This is a bigger beaker, tall form beaker without lip, holding analyte solution as well as the electrodes. Sometimes this may be kept on a magnetic stirrer in this fashion. Therefore, tall form beaker is act as a vessel that holds hold the analyte solution as well as this cathode and anode. Sometimes it may be placed on a magnetic stirrer in order to carry out the stirring process. Now, fourth component of the electrolysis cell is the stirrer. Stirrer generally, if electric motor is connected to the anode, that will be act as a stirrer. Sometime stirring process may be carried out by using a magnetic stirrer in which the stirrer is kept on this platform of magnetic stirrer. Stirring is required to nullify the concentration gradient and to decrease the over potential or over voltage of the electrode. Therefore, here these are the four different components. Fourth component is stirrer. Stirrer generally, anode itself acts as a stirrer when it is connected to electric motor. Sometimes stirring may be carried out by using a magnetic stirrer. Stirring is required to nullify the effect of concentration gradient that would be occurs during the deposition process. And here that will decrease the over voltage of the electrode. Student, what is concentration gradient? That we'll discuss in brief here. Suppose, for example, this is an analyte solution. In this analyte solution, here, suppose the analyte which is nearer to this electrode surface is get deposited, and if we does not stir this solution, at that time concentration of analyte in this region, that is in the vicinity of the electrode, contact to the electrode, and concentration of analyte in the bulk of the solution, that two concentration becomes different. That gives a concentration gradient, and because of this concentration gradient, over voltage is increases. Therefore, to nullify this concentration gradient, stirring is carried out so that the concentration of the ion in the total solution is kept identical, and that will be there is no concentration gradient, and that will be done by stirring the solution. Student, this is about the instrumentation of electrolysis cell, which is useful for the electrolysis without controlled cathode potential, means a amperostatic electrolysis. But when we have to carry out the potentiostatic electrolysis process, at that time there is requirement of a reference electrode. Reference electrode, it is generally a saturated calomel electrode, and it is coupled to this working electrode in this fashion. This is a beaker, and this is a saturated calomel electrode, which is connected through voltmeter to this working electrode. Now, position of voltmeter in this case is in this way. This is a voltmeter. Voltmeter is connected in between working electrode, means cathode, and the reference electrode. Now, this is a reference electrode, and this will becomes a electrolysis cell for potentiostatic electrolysis. Now, this is a figure for potentiostatic electrolysis process. Therefore, here a reference electrode is placed along with the cathode and anode. Reference electrode is connected to the cathode through voltmeter. The potential difference between the cathode and this reference electrode is monitored by this voltmeter, and we can keep this potential difference constant throughout the electrolysis process, and then we can say it is a potentiostatic electrolysis. Therefore, reference electrode, saturated calomel electrode, is coupled to cathode or working electrode on which analyte is deposited through a voltmeter, and the potential of cathode or that working electrode, that may be anode, is controlled or monitored by using voltmeter. Therefore, here there is requirement of reference electrode for a potentiostatic electrolysis process, in which we have to control the potential of this cathode or working electrode. Student, this is all about the instrumentation of electrolysis cell, or you can say instrumentation of electrogravimetry. Electrogravimetry is carried out by using electrolysis cell, and in this case we discuss all the components of electrolysis cell. What is the electrolysis cell for amperostatic electrolysis process, and what is the electrolysis cell for a potentiostatic electrolysis process. Student, with this you can solve or you can find out the answer of this question. Question is like this: draw the schematic diagram of electrolysis cell used in amperostatic electrolysis process and explain its different components, means components of that electrolysis cell. Another question is that draw the schematic diagram of potentiostatic static electrolysis cell and explain each component involved in it. This is the homework or home assignment. You can find out the answer of these two questions. Before discussing the electrolysis cell, you first discuss what is amperostatic electrolysis and here what is potentiostatic electrolysis. Then draw the electrolysis cell for both and explain in brief their instrumentation. Student, with this I invite you to my next lecture on electrogravimetry. Thanks for joining me. Wish you all the best. Keep learning. Happy learning.